I am out of her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her. There is blood everywhere.
Okay. Where are you at? I'm sorry. I just got back today, so.
Okay.
So you need to kind of fill me in a little bit, okay?
The 11th of November 2010, Knox County, Ohio. A woman has just climbed through a window into her friend's house, and what she's found inside will change everything.
Don't go back in the house.
I'm not going to you. I'm staying in the driveway.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Bye.
But the man responsible was already 2 steps ahead. Hours earlier, caught on camera, buying tarps and garbage bags at a Walmart 15 minutes away. And before that, sitting calmly in a parking lot talking to a deputy who had no idea he was looking at a killer. The deputy asked who he was waiting for. The man said, Sarah. The deputy let him go. What no one knew yet, 2 miles away, in the basement of a house on Columbus Road, a 13-year-old girl was lying on a bed of leaves, bound at the wrists, bound at the ankles, blindfolded. She had been there for over 24 hours. Before we get to the horror, you need to know who Tina Herrmann was, because this story is not just about what was done to her, it's about who we lost. Tina Rose Herrmann was 32 years old, a single mom, 2 kids she absolutely adored. Living in the small community of Howard, Ohio, part of the Apple Valley Lake area, just south of Mount Vernon. A place where people knew their neighbors, where crime wasn't really something anyone thought about. Tina worked at the local Dairy Queen, had been there for years. Her manager, Valerie Haythorne, will tell you she was one of the most dependable people she'd ever employed, never late. Never a no-call, no-show. Her daughter, Sarah, was 13, outgoing, bright, athletic. Her son, Cody, was 11, a quiet kid who loved baseball and dreamed of flying helicopters one day. Tina was at every game, every event. Those 2 kids were her whole world. Life wasn't perfect. She and her long-term boyfriend, Greg Borders, had decided to split. Tina was quietly looking for a new apartment. She was planning her next chapter. Her best friend, Stephanie Sprang, 41 years old, lived just down the street. They were inseparable. They'd had plans to go apartment hunting together on the day Tina went missing, the 10th of November, 2010. Tina Herrmann left the house in the morning to run errands, got groceries, filled up her truck, came home. She never left again. 4 p.m. Tina's shift was supposed to start. She wasn't there. Valerie called. No answer. Texted. Nothing. Drove by the house. Saw Tina's truck in the driveway. Coat still inside. Lights on. But no answer at the door. So she called 911 to report her missing worker.
Sheriff Barber's office.
Hi, my name is Valerie Haythorne.
Uh-huh.
And I work at a Dairy Queen. I'm the general manager out there.
Uh-huh.
One of my employees did not show up for work this afternoon at 4 o'clock,
Okay.
which is totally uncharacteristic of her. She's one of my managers.
Okay.
I drove out by her house and went and knocked on the door, left her note. She's not answering her phone, which is totally uncharacteristic. She's not answering her text, and she is not at home, but her truck and her coat are in the house. Her truck's there and her coat is in the house.
What's her name?
Her name is Tina Herrmann, Herrmann.
Okay.
Officers were dispatched that evening. They knocked. No answer. No lights on. They assumed no one was home. And they left. The next morning, Valerie called the school. Tina's kids had been there Wednesday. They weren't there Thursday. Now Valerie was really scared. Then came word about Stephanie Sprang, last spoken to around 12:45 p.m. on Wednesday. After that, nothing. Now there were 4 people missing. Tina, Sarah, Cody, Stephanie, and the family dog, Tanner. That evening, Valerie decided she wasn't waiting anymore. She climbed through an unlocked window. What she found inside that house will never leave her. Blood everywhere, pools soaked into the carpet in multiple rooms, drag marks converging toward the bathroom. The bathroom investigators would later describe as looking like a slaughterhouse. Motor oil had been poured through parts of the house in an attempt to set it on fire that someone had abandoned. On the kitchen floor, grocery bags Tina never got to put away. A receipt time-stamped around noon. She'd barely been home an hour when whatever happened, happened. So she called 911 for the second time.
This is Deputy Somebody. I can help you.
Yes, this is Valerie Haythorne. I called in last night about Tina Herrmann being missing.
Mm-hmm.
I am out of her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her. There is blood everywhere.
Okay. Where are you at? I'm sorry. I just got back today, so.
Okay.
So you need to kind of fill me in a little bit, okay?
Tina Herrmann works for me. She did not show up for work yesterday. We have not been able to locate her or her children for the last 24 hours now. I just spoke with.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just need to add.
481 2 Beach Drive in Apple Valley.
Okay. Just give us a few minutes and we'll be in around, okay?
Okay, so
Don't go back in the house.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in the driveway.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye.
Police arrived within minutes. What they found told a clear story, and one detail in that blood would point investigators towards someone they never expected. Subscribe to Crime Mind and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Now back to Knox County. 3 separate blood stain patterns in 3 different rooms. Drag marks from each location leading to one place. 3 people had been attacked. 3 people had been dragged. And a 4th person, someone smaller, had walked out. In the blood on the floor, investigators found 2 sets of footprints. One large, a man's shoe, one smaller, size 7.5, an Airwalk brand. They could literally read the word Airwalk pressed into the blood. They found a shoebox for that exact size and brand in Sarah's bedroom. Whoever this small person was, they had walked out of that house alive. That meant there was someone to save, if they moved fast enough. Police started investigating the people closest to Tina, and they started with her co-worker.
Text message I got from Tina. That was the last time anybody had heard from her.
I might get that house, go see it tomorrow. Yeah. And that was November the 10th at 11:51
It was Wednesday.
a.m.
Yeah.
So why don't we do this? Why did you know she was going to go? That Tina was going to go look at a house?
I've been bringing her the men's bags to work because there's different houses in there than is in the newspaper. She had been telling me for a month and a half now that Greg is threatening to kick her out, and she's told Greg, my name's on the lease too, you can't kick me out. And she's like, it's half and half. I'll move out willingly and you can have the house, but you can't sit here and tell me to leave. And so she finally decided, all right, I'm done with his crap. They broke up. She actually said that they came to an agreement that they were going to be friends with benefits while they were living together. And because she's a nympho, and she will say that straight from her mouth.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah, she's a nympho. So, and while that worked out for 3 days, and they started fighting again, and she said, all right, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to get a place with me and the kids, and we'll just go our separate ways. Well, she was having me bring the mess bags to work, and she was leaving them there because she didn't want him to know that she was looking for another place, like towards the end of it and recently and stuff. She didn't want him to know that she was looking for a place because she was planning on moving out when he wasn't there, when he was at work on a weekend. He only works Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. That's it. He doesn't work during the week. Nothing. And he works overnight shift.
Yep.
So she was gonna plan on moving all of her stuff out while he was at work, you know, get a couple people out there to help her move the furniture and stuff like that. Well, after she had texted me that, I found out that she did go look at the house that day because Greg was flipping out because he found a text message in her phone that she was looking at a house. And he flipped out about it, I guess. And that's where that went from that. Well, she didn't show up for work Wednesday. And nobody could get a hold of her. Her phone was off. And we're like, okay, what's going on?
A woman secretly planning to leave, hiding bags at work, scared her boyfriend would find out. The pattern was textbook. Investigators had seen it 100 times. Greg Borders was their guy. Greg Borders, Tina's live-in boyfriend. They'd just broken up. The first suspect seemed like the obvious answer. Greg had voluntarily come to the station. He sat down, answered every question, admitted they had a fight the morning she disappeared, said he loved her, said he loved those kids like his own.
Like I said, you know, we have you here so we can talk to you. We're talking to everybody, you know. That's just kind of what we got to do, and I'm sure you want that.
Oh, yeah. I've been hoping you guys can get a hold of me soon.
And we were going to, and you probably felt that we would too. But again, we've just been running here and there and everywhere and just didn't have the opportunity to sit down and talk with you. So what I'd like to do is maybe just get a little bit of like background information, if that's okay. Because I've never really met you before last night. And, I've never met Tina and the kids or anything like that. So, you guys are boyfriend, girlfriend? Is that not never been married or?
No. We were engaged.
Okay.
Engaged probably for 4 years.
Okay. Any kids? You have kids together, biological?
I have my 2 kids and she has 2 kids. Mine are mainly with us on the holidays and during the summer. If they're not here on a regular basis during the school year very often.
Boy, girl.
Boy and girl.
Can you tell me a little bit about Tina? I don't really know her, so I'm asking everybody.
I can summarize our relationship. It's an on again, off again. We butt heads. Like I told you the other night, there's never been any physical altercations, and yeah, we are split up. We've been split up for the past month, but like I was telling you last night, I wouldn't be surprised if a week from now we get back together. Because that's the way our relationship's been. I know it didn't sound good with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
That's just the way our relationship. It's immature and it's stupid, and
that's about 80% of the relationships on and off.
Yeah.
Times are tough now. Financial reasons and everything. That's typical though, and I'm telling you, and I don't have to tell you that. I'm sure you know that. Just talking to your buddies, I'm sure they got the same problem sometimes.
Yeah.
That's the major thing, the money. So you say you're on and off. This week you're off.
Well, we've been off probably the past month. I caught her texting some guy that she works with at Dairy Queen about a month ago. I didn't know there was no text from her. There was a text from him that I seen, and it could have been innocent. It might not have been. And the only text I seen from her to him was, "I hope you're deleting his messages." Because I guess he's engaged or married. I don't know. But I confronted her about it. She acted like it was no big deal. We didn't talk for 4 or 5 days. And then when we made up, everything was going good. And then she made a comment to me one day about she wouldn't even have been talking to that guy if we got along more better and stuff. And then I told her, that's when I said, I can't do this. And if every time we're in an argument or something, I'm gonna have to worry about you doing something like that. So I pretty much ended it. And this whole past week, I can tell she'd been wanting to get back together, and I just kept pushing away. I didn't, because everybody in my family are like, you need to get away. That's not a good environment for her kids. I don't even bring my kids there anymore because it's not a good environment with us fighting and stuff.
Sure.
And I could just tell she wanted to get back together, and the way she's acting towards me, like when I left Wednesday morning, she was mad. She knew I was going to stay with my friend that night, and she thought maybe I was going to see a girl or do something, and she woke up, which she hasn't got up with me. She usually used to get up with me in the mornings, and she'd help me pack my lunch, get my coffee, original stuff, but she hadn't done that in a while, and she got up that morning, and she was fighting with me about the dog, because I didn't let the dog out, because I was running a little late, and she made a comment to me when I was getting in the car. She's like, well, you better come home after work. She was trying everything in her power to get me to come home. She wanted me to come home after work. She didn't want me to go to my buddy's house.
So you pretty much had a plan to go golfing that day?
Yeah, we had planned it out we'd been planning it all weekend. But then they asked Monday for volunteers to work because we were really behind. And I was like, well, I'll sign up for Wednesday. I was talking to my buddy, I'll sign up for Wednesday and come crash at your house. And then because the place we wanted to go golfing, it's far drive from here, and he's only like 20 minutes from it.
Well, one of the, again, the reason why you're here is we're just trying to figure out what everybody was doing that day, and and I'm glad that you came in so we could talk, because obviously, you know her well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know we had our problems, but I still love her, and I still care about her.
You know what?
I love her kids. I've raised them for the past 5-6 years like they're my kids.
You can't tell me that there's not a person out there, a relationship where they don't have the problems. If they say they don't, they're lying. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And his alibi checked out completely. Work, 80 miles away, since 6 a.m. A friend's house after. His boss confirmed it. His friend confirmed it. The gas station camera confirmed it. Greg Borders didn't do this. So detectives went back to the crime scene. And this time they found something in the garage that would blow the entire case open. A Walmart shopping bag. Inside it 2 tarps and a box of 55-gallon heavy-duty garbage bags. And at the bottom of the bag, a receipt. Time-stamped just after midnight on Thursday, November 11th. Hours after Tina and the others vanished. Police went straight to the Mount Vernon Walmart, pulled the transaction, found the surveillance footage. There he was. A white male, mid-30s, brown hair, camouflage shirt and glasses, buying tarps and garbage bags in the middle of the night with zero emotion on his face. Calm. Completely calm. He walked out to the parking lot and got into a silver Toyota Yaris. A Toyota Yaris isn't exactly a common car in rural Knox County, Ohio. Investigators ran the DMV database all registered male owners of silver Toyota Yaris vehicles in the area. On the first page of results, last name on the page, they found him. Matthew J. Hoffman, 30 years old. And here's the part that made every detective in that room go cold. In his driver's license photo taken just 16 days before the Walmart footage, Hoffman was wearing the exact same camouflage shirt. They had their man. But then one of the officers remembered something. The night Tina's truck was found abandoned near that hiking trail, an officer had been checking the vehicle when he noticed a man sitting alone in the parking lot nearby, in a silver Toyota Yaris, in the dark, in a lot that was closed. The officer had approached him, asked him what he was doing there. The man said he was waiting for his girlfriend. The officer asked her name. Sarah. He had said Sarah, and the officer had let him go. Sarah Maynard, 13 years old. The girl they were desperately trying to find. The girl who, at that exact moment, was already bound up in his basement. He had given them her name, and they had let him walk. The 14th of November, 2010. 4 days after Tina, Cody, Sarah, and Stephanie disappeared, a SWAT team descended on the house. They breached the front door with a ram. Flash grenade went in first. They found Matthew Hoffman asleep on his living room couch. He resisted briefly, wouldn't show his hands, but was quickly taken into custody and removed from the home. And then the officers started looking around. And there were leaves everywhere. Not a few leaves. Not some autumn decoration. Thousands upon thousands of leaves. The entire living room floor was covered in a pile of them, 3 feet deep in some places. Bags of leaves, nailed to the walls of the bathroom, floor to ceiling. A 14 by 14 foot tarp, covered in a massive leaf pile in the middle of the living room. Drawings covered the walls. Not framed pictures someone had drawn directly onto the walls. Animals. Human faces. Strange hybrid creatures. A peace sign on the door. Stars everywhere. Random names scrawled in marker. The bathroom was covered in black drawings. A jack-o'-lantern. Weird figures. In the freezer, 2 dead squirrels. Right next to a row of red popsicles. One SWAT officer later recalled looking around and saying out loud, "I've seen a lot of crazy cases, but this guy? Wow. Who has a 14 by 14 tarp in their living room with leaves piled 3 feet high?" They searched the main floor. The second story. Nothing. No sign of any of the missing 4. Rope found in the garage raised suspicions but gave them nothing solid. They were running out of house. And then someone noticed something. In the basement doorway, a heavy dresser, pushed directly up against the door. Not like someone had been decorating, like someone had put it there on purpose. Officers moved it aside, opened the door, went down the stairs. More leaves, more bags. And on top of a pile of leaves, a sleeping bag. And on top of that, under blankets, a 13-year-old girl. Wrists bound with yellow rope and duct tape, ankles bound the same way. She was alive. When officers approached her, Sarah Maynard looked up, confused, exhausted. And the first thing she asked was whether they knew what happened to her dog, Tanner. 4 days in a freezing dark basement, and this kid's first thought was about her dog. Matthew Hoffman was arrested, taken to the station, and that's where the real fight began. We are about to get into 4 days of interrogation, unlike anything most of these detectives had ever seen in their careers. A man who sat in complete silence for hours. A psychological chess match. and a confession nobody saw coming. Most suspects can't maintain total silence for long. Hoffman overrode that instinct completely. For hours, he sat with his eyes closed, stone still. One detective with 22 years in law enforcement said he had never seen anything like it.
You kind of understand what's going on here, Matt?
That's it. We can explain all this to you if you want to talk to me, okay? I think you know what we want to talk about. But we need to find some people. Matt, can you hear me?
Matt, you go by Matt or Matthew? Sure, you probably have some questions for us, right? Or maybe a little bit better understanding of what's going on?
We'll give you a minute, man, if you need to think a little bit. Just tell us when you're ready. You want to talk to one of us alone, or do you want us both in here, or you comfortable with both of us being here? Man? We have officers down talking to your parents right now, okay? We have a lot of officers out and around. I think we need your help and you need ours.
We need to get some closure here.
Your mom said you was honest and cooperative. That's what she told him. Your mom loves you, man. You got a lot of people that are concerned and worried and missing people. We need to get that wrapped up, okay? Like I told you, there's reasons for everything, okay? We know that. You know that. And we gotta get it worked out. There's family members out there of other people, and all they want is closure. That's all they want. They've been up for days like you and I have, you know?
And then, out of nowhere, Hoffman raised one hand, pointed to his chest, moved it in a slow circle.
Heart hurts. I don't understand sign language, man. Is that your heart? You're saying heart? Broken. Your heart's broken? Because of what happened? No? Someone broke your heart? I know you can talk to me, man. What do you want from us? Tell me what you want from us. You gotta talk to me. We talk to a lot of people before we come to see you, so we know you can talk.
Sign language. The man who had killed 3 people and kidnapped a child was communicating through hand gestures that his heart was broken. It was bizarre. It was chilling. But here's the thing, it was also the first communication they'd gotten out of him. And every detective in that room knew that a crack, no matter how small, is still a crack.
Oh, thanks. Matt, here's some tissues.
You understand what's going on, Matt?
When the first round of interrogators got nowhere, the team brought in Detective Christine Cadu, a specialist in psychological interrogation, told to wear her hair in a ponytail, to seem younger, approachable, nurturing, not adversarial.
Hi, Matt. Hi, my name's Chris. I wanted to talk to you for a second if I could. Just gonna close the door. What are you doing? That's a different kind of garb. If you have me on suicide watch? Okay. Well, I just wanted to talk to you briefly and make sure you're doing okay and see how everything's. You look pretty exhausted. Like I said, I'm kind of concerned right now for you. You seem kind of like you're upset, or I would imagine you're pretty exhausted from the last couple days. Did you get something to eat today? They gave you breakfast? Okay. I'd like to help you, Matt, and find out how you're feeling and what's going on, and see where this can go. I think it can only help you to find out how you're doing and what's going on with you. Your face showed a lot of pain, Matt. That's just what I can see. I don't want you to be feeling that. Are you cold? Want a jacket or something? Okay, sure. Tissue. We're okay. Let me go ask them if we can get a jacket. Okay, I'm back. Okay. You want pants? Or is there no? Okay. Well, they're here if you do. Okay. Sorry. I saw you shiver in there. I thought that it is a little chilly in here. I'm the one that's got a sweater on, so. You're obviously a man with your own feelings. And they're right there. And I kind of guess that you probably had to keep them to yourself for a while and not have someone else to confide in and talk to about feelings in general. That happens to a lot of us. It's okay. Yes. Where's the sadness coming from?
Hoffman had killed everyone in that house but kept Sarah alive. Maybe a woman who seemed safe would be the key.
Why do you think that is? Because I must have done something bad. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. Well, that can be worked through. I'm afraid to even know what it was I did.
You're afraid to let me know what you did?
I'm afraid to even know what I did.
It can only help you. You can't work through something you don't know.
I don't know if there's other people are.
What other people?
Who was those guys grilled me about yesterday?
Well, I'm concerned about you right now.
I tried to just tell her that everything's gonna be okay. I didn't know if everything's gonna be okay or not. I'm just trying to appease her fears.
I'm sure you did at the time. I'm sure she still has some other fears of not knowing where her mom and her brother are. And that may be something that you can appease as well.
I thought that maybe if she was with me, then they were somewhere else. The head detective yesterday said there was blood everywhere in the house.
Do you not remember that?
They can't be okay if that's happened, or maybe I left them somewhere or something.
How did you come to have her at your house?
I heard her. I found her.
How would you find her? If it helps your memory, she did say that you brought her from her home to your home.
I gathered that.
Yeah.
I felt when the SWAT team came in the morning. Relieved. She could go back to her family, and I didn't know what to do. What am I doing to this girl? How did this even happen? What's going on? I was just going to take care of her and try to figure out what happened. I never even watched any of the moves. I was trying to backtrack all my steps and where I've been. I'm trying to figure it out. And I didn't know what to do with her. I could have just... I had to tie her up. So when they came in, I was so glad she could go back to my family.
Yeah, want to hurt her. That makes sense. You kind of fell back into a corner, having her there, but not sure what to do at that point.
It was working. He was beginning to talk. He admitted he had found Sarah, that he had taken care of her. He was positioning himself as the good guy, not the man who put her there.
I appreciate you letting me talk to you.
Thanks for being so nice. I'm not really sure what your angle is. You're from the FBI and you're some counselor, so I don't really know what you're getting at. I guess I missed lunch, so you guys probably pizza. I really don't know what to say. I don't really have anything to say. Yeah, just say one thing.
Well, you're a smart guy, and you know that, and I'm kind of don't want to lie to you in any way. That's not my way. The things I've talked to you about, I'm very genuine about. It comes from my heart. I know when people, things happen, and I just hear them talk to you, it boils up, and it happens to all of us in different ways. So, with all honesty, that's kind of my angle about making sure you're okay and your pain stops. And I mean that sincerely.
You seem very sincere and genuine.
Well,
part of me wishes that I could help you. And part of me is afraid to just know what happened.
Well, again, we talk about you hold things in, and it doesn't seem to work for you in the past. That maybe bringing it out and talking about it, and maybe even that does bring out more memories. It's going to be more of a better thing. In the past, holding it in hasn't worked for you.
I'm afraid that what they're saying is true and that I'm some sort of monster.
I don't think you're a monster at all.
I can't hurt people. Right. But I can't.
And that's what it's about. It's not about you being a monster. It's about...
I think I would get in a fight, like if I was here, I would fight somebody, but I couldn't hurt people. I don't know what happened.
People will forgive if you're honest. And try to help as much as you can. That goes a long way with most people.
This is too big for forgiveness. There was a girl walked into my house. How could I be forgiven? I don't even forgive myself for that. How did that happen?
I'm happy to give you a break if you want. If you want me to leave, that's looking for me. Hi.
Hey, it's been about 3.5 hours. I just didn't know if he needed to go or do anything, or
I was trying.
If you did.
No, I was just trying to ask him if you do you need to go to.
Hey, Matt, it's Joe.
I mean, I just
He hasn't been like this the whole time.
No.
See, John kind of went in and out yesterday a few times while we were talking. Hey, Matt.
He's been talking.
How you doing? Remember me from yesterday?
Okay.
Oh, Jen.
Yeah, I'll just be a couple minutes, okay? And then I'll be back, and then tell us if you need something, all right? I want to. Well, you kind of have to go to the bathroom too. You just have a bottle of water. All right, when I come back, I'll ask you again to make sure, okay? We can take those off too.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
And then on day 3, something completely unexpected happened.
Well, we just appreciate you coming down again. We wanted to talk to you again, but just know that, it's your choice. If you don't want to talk to us at any time, just let us know. Okay? And at any point you can stop it. I just want to remind you of that and know that you have a choice in this. Okay? What are your thoughts today after the things we talked about and kind of left it last night with you feeling like you wanted to do what you could to help?
This coffee's kind of getting weak over in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, you're not gonna try and overpower me and take my gun or anything, right?
No, you might, if you want to, you can give it to someone.
Okay.
So, let only use the bathroom when you don't interrupt it.
Gary?
Just wait your lips.
I'm sorry, Doug. You take this, absolutely, and I'm gonna walk down to the bathroom and doing it. Just join me.
You can even put the ghost on if you want.
Hoffman pulled a detective close, said he'd had a vivid dream working in a meat processing plant, cutting up body parts. When he woke up, the dream had triggered his memory of what he'd done. He knew where the bodies were, but there was a condition. He wanted police to take him there and shoot him during a staged escape. He wanted to die. He wanted them to do it for him. The detective said no, and then Hoffman admitted the dream was a lie. The whole thing, constructed just to engineer his own death.
What can you tell us? What you do remember? Obviously, you had a moment where can you tell us what you do remember? I mean, my concern again was the location. Can you tell us what you do remember? You've admitted to what you've done. I mean, there's not any more purpose. You've admitted to it. You've admitted to the point they're cut up, they're in garbage bags. I mean, which is what we pretty much knew anyway. So why not just take this? You're the one who said you had the dream, and it all came back, and now that's why you want to kill yourself. We didn't tell you that. I mean, man, if it didn't happen, you wouldn't be at this stage. You wouldn't be trying to figure out a way to kill yourself. You'd be fighting this whole thing another whole different way.
So the bad that we do far outweighs the good. People will think I haven't lost her. I haven't lost her. If I've done what you guys said I've done, then I haven't lost her. It's a lot.
You've done what you've done. That's part of your whole decision to want to end your life.
I can't help.
But you can still you can't help us.
I made up that just so I could.
Yeah, I don't believe that, man. I don't believe it. I think that you don't want to tell for whatever reason. You don't want to own it. You're afraid it might play some role in your case. I don't know what that all is. But if you don't, this isn't something you're making it sound like we could have brought somebody in off the street and we could have told them they did all these things, and then all of a sudden they would start telling us this stuff. Okay, we didn't tell you that the truck had a hard time shifting. Okay, you knew that because you were there and you drove the truck. Okay, there's a lot of details in this case that that are part of your experience. So the idea that you just don't know, that just doesn't work anymore. You've got to know enough to be able to make this decision to do some positive good here.
The shutting down just doesn't work, Matt. We know you're still part of this conversation in this room and know what you're thinking. And it's not going to get you through in the end for yourself. They're telling me that they are pushing, and they're pushing, the prosecutors are pushing to have you come and have a hearing, and this is it. This is your last chance to talk to us.
the impression you gave me this morning was certainly that you're not concerned about your case, that you recognize that this is that this is, in terms of the case, that this is done. But they're charged with, looking at it differently. So, I mean, this is realistically our last opportunity.
You gotta think of your family and yourself and how that's gonna work. They're gonna be the ones that you have to face in the end, and how they're gonna view that. Your mom has been pressing to say, just do the right thing and tell us where they are, and she will be there for you. That's what's gonna give her pride.
So, quite honestly, whether we find them this morning with the people that are out looking, or whether you help us find them, the sooner they're found, the sooner this, starts to die down. So, I mean, that's another, again, I'm just looking for ways that will help you come to this decision, but that's another thing to think about if that is a concern to you, and it sounds like it is. And the lack of the media pressure also takes some of the other people that are, being affected by it. Sorry about that.
Okay. We're done. We apparently are told we are done. Keep everything we said in mind for you. Think about it, and think about what you can do for yourself after you talk to an attorney, and the deal that you can make for yourself.
Hoffman stopped talking the moment his public defender arrived. The window closed, but the evidence was already overwhelming, and the families agreed to take the death penalty off the table. In exchange, Matthew Hoffman would confess and tell them where the bodies were. Hoffman drew investigators a map, led them to the Kokosing Wildlife Area, dense, remote woods. He directed them to one specific tree, a massive 60-foot hollow beech, and when investigators looked up at it, they understood this was going to be worse than anything they'd prepared for. Before we get to that tree, you need to understand what Matthew Hoffman actually did inside Tina Herrmann's house. On the night of November 9th, Hoffman packed food, water, a sleeping bag, a blackjack weapon, and a hunting knife into his car, drove to Apple Valley, parked a mile away, walked through the woods to a tree line across the street. He watched the house through the night. At 4 a.m., Greg left for work. A few hours later, Tina got the kids on the bus. Then Tina left to run errands. Hoffman walked across the street. The garage door was broken. He'd noticed it before. He went inside, and he waited. Tina came home around noon, groceries in her arms. She walked through the door. Matthew Hoffman was standing in her hallway. What happened next was savage and relentless. When Stephanie Sprang arrived minutes later, she had no idea what she was walking into. Hoffman killed her too. He was still in that house when the school bus stopped outside. Sarah and Cody walked in, saw blood on the floor, yelled for their mom. And a man stepped out from the hallway. Cody ran for the front door. Hoffman caught him. Sarah ran to her bedroom, grabbed her phone, was trying to call 911 when Hoffman kicked the door in. He put a knife to her chest, told her if she screamed, he would kill her. He tied her up and went back to finish what he had started. Sarah lay on the kitchen floor for hours. She could hear water running, the toilet flushing at odd intervals, Hoffman moving back and forth collecting cleaning supplies. She was 13 years old, and she knew what those sounds meant. When it was finally over, Hoffman blindfolded Sarah, loaded her into Stephanie's Jeep, put her in the back seat. And Sarah could feel something in the seat with her, under her. She would only find out years later what it was. She had been placed on top of her family's remains, blindfolded, 13 years old, sitting on her mother and her brother. And she didn't know. Hoffman used his tree trimming equipment, harnesses, rigging. He climbed to the top of the tree and, one by one, dropped the garbage bags into its hollow interior. He believed correctly that no one would ever find what was inside it. When detectives arrived with cadaver dogs, they didn't even alert. The tree was sealed so well by nature, the scent couldn't escape. Investigators had to bring in chainsaws, cut carefully into the side, preserving as much dignity as they could. Inside, Tina Herrmann, Cody Maynard, Stephanie Sprang, and Tanner, the family dog. The first investigator who opened one of those bags looked directly into the face of 11-year-old Cody Maynard, his eyes still open. When investigators told Hoffman they'd found the tree, he asked for proof it hadn't been harmed. He wanted photographs, evidence it was still standing. He called it his sacred burial ground. He had more compassion for that tree than he ever showed for the 3 people he put inside it. On the 6th of January 2011, Matthew Hoffman pleaded guilty to every charge. 3 counts of aggravated murder, kidnapping, rape, tampering with evidence, 10 felonies total. Life in prison, no possibility of parole, ever. At sentencing, Sarah's words were read aloud. She was 14 years old. "This is so sickening, Matthew, to know you even had the guts to do this to a family." And then, "I'm not scared of you, Matthew. I'm going to stand up for myself and live my life." And she did. She struggled. Nightmares. Months out of school. Classmates made comments about the leaves, about what happened to her. She kept going. At 16, she filed a protective order against her own father and stepmother after reporting abuse. She co-wrote a book about her experience, appeared on a Lifetime special alongside Elizabeth Smart, and she said, "It made me become a really strong woman. It made me become a really strong mother." Sarah Maynard is a mother now. Matthew Hoffman is serving his sentence at Toledo Correctional Institution. He has never been granted a media interview, never spoken publicly about the murders. According to his mother, he has never spoken to her about what he did either. Tina Herrmann was 32. She was planning her next chapter. She had groceries on her kitchen floor she never got to put away. Cody Maynard was 11. He wanted to fly helicopters. Stephanie Sprang was 41. She showed up to help her best friend find a new home. None of them knew what was waiting inside that house. The tree where Hoffman hid their remains was cut down after the investigation. It no longer stands. Tina, Cody, and Stephanie were brought home. And Sarah, the girl sitting on a pile of leaves in a cold, dark basement when the world was still searching for her, is still here. Still standing. Still living. Thank you for watching this one all the way through. Subscribe to Crime Mind, hit the bell, drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from and what you think about this case. We'll see you in the next one.